Since improvement resources are limited, you will have to decide how much effort are you going to spend on improving systems and training and capability of your organization versus directly hunting for results. And while it is a choice individually for each company, there are a couple of guidelines this video will go over. Hello, I'm Tom. Welcome to my channel where we talk about continuous improvement in an industrial setting. And today's video is about capability building, and not per se individual people capability building, but how do you build the capability of an organization, of a company, and also about how much focus should you put on this. Now, let's first start with why do you even need capability? What is it? And for this, it is actually best to first just get out of the way the idea of improving performance. So what we are doing when we are analyzing losses and then eliminating the losses, we are improving the performance of our organization. Now for this, we do things like with machine time, we do a breakdown reduction team. Or when it's material efficiency, we do things like overusage reduction, defect reduction. We are focusing on the typical losses that we see in our process, putting a team on it, eliminating the root cause, fixing the problems. But by fixing the problems, our base performance level increases. And we are able to make either more products or cheaper products or better products. And this is the direct performance of our organization. Now, what you could put into performance as well, and I think it is a good idea, are things like how many accidents or dangerous things, well, maybe not a dangerous situation, but the actual problems, right? First aid cases, accidents did we have? How many customer complaints or recalls or that type of not really financial, but very important for the overall health of your organization type of KPIs. And of course, next to that, you have all the money KPIs, because in the end, they are a really good show of how well we are doing in capturing the market, selling our product, things that the customer want, and being able to do that at a price point where there is a good margin for the company itself. Now, when you do those performance increasing projects, you will be changing standards, you will be changing ways of work, you will be getting maybe new suppliers, things like that. But in almost all of those improvements, somebody needs to also change their way of work, even be it picking a different supplier. But most often what you also see is that people need to define and work in a slightly different way, like operate the machine in a slightly different way, or switch a number of processes around different from what they were used to. And this has to be embedded, this has to be established. I just made a video on that, which I think would be a good idea to also look specifically on how do you embed it. But you embed it into systems, into, let's say, organizational capabilities, like, for instance, how good are we in making standards really flow through the organization and become the actual standard. So not a piece of paper, but can we train people? Can we also check if people are working in a good way, coach them on even improving that further? So to what extent can we standardize our way of work? What you're also looking at is how good are we in checking on a daily scale these performance? Because at the end of the year, if you're looking back and performance was not up to standards, there's not a lot that you can do at that point. What you would like to do is every day you are checking certain parts of your processes. You are checking, are things going like I planned it, or even a bit better? And if they are deviating downwards, can we act? Can we fix a problem, fix the root causes? So there is this performance control system, daily control systems, so PCS, DCS type of system, daily meeting. This is a strong part of the organizational capabilities. How well are we in finding root causes? How good are we at our maintenance, getting work orders into maintenance in a good way? So there is some problem with a part of the line. Does an operator make a good work order, a technical work order out of it? Is it processed quickly? Is it then planned into fixing by the maintenance staff? Do they really fix like it should be? That process is also a big part of operational capability. And like this, basically everything that we do, the way that we work, the way that we improve, the way that we make things efficient, that is all operational capability. And the thing is, how well our maintenance department works, you cannot directly translate that into performance. But you will also know that when you have a maintenance department that is efficient and effective, so they really keep the machines in base conditions, you won't have as many breakdowns. Not as many breakdowns is more capability, or more capacity in your lines, more volume, you get more sales, that is directly linked to performance. The same goes for, are we very good in checking, working to standards and checking it? Because if we are, the chance for defects, the chance for product efficiency going sideways is very low. So we will keep a high performance level. Now, that's why we understand that capability in an organization is also important. But if we focus only on having the best performance control system and maintenance flowing through it like a whistle, everything is working wonderfully, but we don't really look at where are the current losses, where are we actually losing money, we will not get the performance. So it's a sort of a balance. Now, we do know from checking multiple factories that without a good, capable system in your organization, the performance level will be very dependent on a few key people. So I'm not saying that it's impossible to stay at a high performance level when your organization is not very capable, as long as you have a couple of good people who really steer it. And this I would not call organizational capability, because if they leave, you almost always see that performance drops again. But you can make it into your company system. So you can go the performance way, you can go the capability way. And for each company, as I said, it will be up to your situations to judge exactly how you score the capability, actually also the performance axis. I mean, is 10% net profit on your cost of goods sold, is that roughly 100% like of your performance? Or is that somewhere very low because, well, in your industry, that's just, well, not something you can survive with? The same also goes, but these ones are a bit easier to benchmark within industry with capability. You will have to determine for your company what is, let's say, a 50% level of how well your performance control meetings are going, and what would be really gold standard. This is what we like in our organization. And when you have a bit of a larger organization with multiple factories that you can compare, it becomes easier, right? Then you can more easily say, for the next 3 to 5 years, our capability criteria will be, we see that meetings are going like this. What we generally see will be somewhere here. What we see, those factories where the system just flows, is somewhere there, so that they have a little bit of room to increase. And you make a nicely described sort of levels in how well you are developed. And you can do the same for how good is your autonomous maintenance. You can do the same for a number of questions on this whole maintenance work order pipeline, where you say how good is the handling of the work orders, how good is the actual execution of it, how good is the budgeting, because it's also not a minor thing to keep your maintenance within the budget. And so you have a number of questions, a sort of KPIs, although there will generally be fewer real numbers attached to it, so it will be more levels or a score in a number of questions that determines your capability score. And what we see is that a site can then be audited, can be scored, and we can say, well, this site actually has quite a nice and high performance, and the capability is sort of averagey. So that's site number 1. We have a site number 2 that has a low performance. Well, the systems are also not that well developed. We have one that's sort of in the middle. We have one that has a very nice capability system, but therefore performance is a bit lagging. But in general, what we see with these sites, so first off, there is the comparison. You say, well, for site 1, in the next 2 or 3 years, your focus should be on really extending the capability a bit more. That will probably give you the most bang for your buck, so the most improvement to your total system compared to the effort you're spending on improvement. This one, that will be a bit of a management question. And most management I know would say, let's first get performance up a bit and then we'll worry about capability, or let's do both a bit at the same time. When you are at this performance level, it is a bit rare to see companies first moving to all the systems and then going for the performance. But it depends a bit on how you set it up, how important it is to make the money right now, and does this factory have to survive the next coming years, or can we as a company invest in building it? I mean, if this is a strategic purchase and you know that you just acquired a factory or you're just changing all kinds of things, and because of that it's maybe not as important that the performance goes up immediately, you can first build your system into it in the knowledge that generally when you build capability, the performance will increase, and you will see a sort of a zone going through the middle. And that is the okay zone. This is the expected zone where capability and performance grow together. And when you see a company being over here in a very high performance but a low organizational capability, you know that you are at risk. So again, this doesn't mean that performance will immediately drop next year, but almost to a cue, there will be a couple of strong managers or specialists at that location who are keeping the whole boat floating. And that is a dangerous situation to be in as a company. It might be easy because it requires a bit less overhead, you don't have to standardize everything out so much, but you become fully dependent or on a couple of key people, and when they leave, performance will probably drop. Now, the other thing that you might see, number 6 here, is an organization that has all the systems in place. They do everything exactly by the book. They do things exactly like corporate tells them. Very nice rooms everywhere, very nice documentation. The ISO documentation is wonderful. But then when you go to the work floor, it already often is not as wonderful. So you see that the main system, it's all there officially, but there is a disconnect between what's really happening on the line and what the specialists who are usually keeping this system in order are doing. So you might see, for instance, that on the shop floor there is a specific somebody doing the root cause analyses and the improvement projects, but that's not an operator, and the operators are not involved in any root cause analysis or improvement projects at all. So there is a disconnect. The system can work, but it has a big pitfall, and that's what you usually see in a factory that has all of their systems in order, but still cannot manage to really get the performance going. Here, of course, the focus will be, let's really get into where are my losses, and almost every time in such situations, you need some outside people, and they don't need to come from outside the organization. They need to come from outside that factory to open the eyes to what is, for instance, zero loss mentality. So where can we still find a loss? And when we find it, how can you improve it? What is needed? What would be the wild ideas? Shoot some new stuff into there. Do some testing. Make sure that you shake up what is usually in a, on paper at least, high capability, low performing factory, and that is there is too much of an excuse going on. We have already tried this, we cannot do it, this would break a rule, or we need all kinds of people to keep this whole system working, and then you just need somebody to go through with fresh eyes. But okay, apart from what you do with the strange extremes, the key message is when you are doing a loss analysis, you are doing it to prepare an improvement roadmap, an improvement plan for your organization, for your factory for the next year or maybe the next 3 years. When you do this, you are determining where to put your improvement resources. And to improve the capabilities of your organization also costs resources. So in a loss week and also in your whole system, how do you determine what to put onto your improvement plans? You need to know what is your capability scoring, what is your expectation on required capabilities, and it is very, very helpful that you discuss it in a way where you plot performance and capability, and that helps you to make these choices. So when you are in, let's say, in a more global, more centralized continuous improvement team, performance excellence team, and you have a number of factories that you work with, make sure you have something like this. It is your role to, together, preferably with the other staff departments like quality and safety, maybe like purchasing or human resources, learning and development, the maintenance specialists. So together with those specialized capability departments, determine this type of scoring, determine what we want our processes, our companies to be like, how they should work. And we have a number of huge international companies that do this very well. They have like a handbook. This is how you work in our company. And when you get, when they acquire a new factory, that's one of the first things that happens. The standard global execution model, our manufacturing model, our business standards, they get pushed in, and it often does feel like that. But what it does is it lays the groundwork for what is this top level, this gold level of capability like in our organization. Where are you now? And it creates the opportunity to make a roadmap. But here, what you will hear, especially from people like controllers, financial industrial controllers, plant managers, also the directors that are more responsible for the money that we bring in as a factory, they will say that this whole corporate idea of putting the capability in place, it's a waste of money. It is a nice show that does not add to the performance. And that is often when you see that capability is pushed when performance is not there yet. So again, this discussion requires that you plot both and try to steer your individual factories, maybe even departments, but usually you do need something like a factory, a multi-department idea when you can really manage performance and capability, to keep it sort of in this central area of growing together. I hope, even though I didn't give you too much detail in this, that it sparked your interest and got you thinking about, how do I do this in my factory, in my organization? How do we actually make the decision between putting resources in performance, putting it in capability? And if you are just in a company that says, well, we always have 2 teams doing several performance improvements and 1 team fixing the management system, which is part of capability, maybe at some point this should be a bit switched or a bit combined, and get this discussion going, because not every factory at each time needs the same vector. Not everyone needs this line, because when you are already high performing but low capability, you may need to put a bit more resources into the capability building, your management systems, or vice versa. You can relax for a bit and really get everyone into making that performance happen. So if you have any thoughts on this or experience, don't forget to drop that down in the comments. I'd like to read about it. I am sure that other viewers would as well. For now, I wish you the best of luck with your improvement journey in both performance and capability. And as always, enjoy that journey.